Hello and welcome to the program Faith in Action, a platform where we try to look at the interrelationship between faith, which is a function of divine providence, and work, which is an inevitable temporal reality. Today, we're going to take you through the wide gamut of how faith and work interface so as to make human existence on this planet Earth very workable. I am Emeka Obieki. We're taking you straight on to the first segment of the program where we're going to visit the academia. You will enjoy that.
Veritas University of Nigeria, Abuja, held her second and third convocation ceremony on the 24th and 25th of February 2015. The two-day event started with a lecture at the Nigerian University Commission on the 24th of February 2015. Speaking at the event, the guest lecturer, His Lordship Most Reverend Godfrey Honor, gave the convocation lecture which centered on Veritas.
On this very joyous occasion of the second and third convocation ceremony of the only official Catholic university in our beloved country, Nigeria, I am grateful to God and to the Vuna family for the opportunity offered me to share in this Gaudium de Veritate and to point out one way in which, in my opinion, our joyous engagement with the truth here can flow from this source down to many corners of our society. Veritas, the truth, is your name. Veritas is your source. Veritas is the reason why you exist, your raison d'être. Veritas is your mission.
The Minister of State for Education, Professor Viola Onwuliri, who was at the occasion, advised the graduates on being a light to the nation.
The issue of stealing, the issue of prostitution must be fully addressed by young people. In some institutions, we get news of cohabitation. We want to believe that it won't happen in Veritas, and that Veritas will become a light to our people, to our generation. Talked about traditional marriage, and I want to believe again that graduates of Veritas University will not sink into the crisis of traditional marriage and church wedding. Something that has bothered me for a long time. A situation where you have society so celebrate traditional marriage that the young couple hardly is left with anything to prosecute the church wedding.
On the 25th, the convocation proper started with a holy mass at the university permanent site, Zuma Garba, Buhari Area Council of Abuja. In his homily, the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, enjoined the students to continue to be good ambassadors of the school.
We expect that as graduates from Veritas University, after successfully completing your studies, you should be able to use the knowledge and skills acquired at this institution for the improvement of yourselves and the Nigerian society. And don't forget the church. Improve yourself, improve the Nigerian society, and improve the church with your quality of life. I pray that as you leave the walls of this noble institution, you will become true ambassadors by living out within the wider society the values and gifts you have acquired during the course of your stay here.
After the Mass, the students and their lecturers, visiting lecturers, Senate and Board of Trustees of the university filed out in the traditional convocation order to begin the ceremony. In his address, the Chancellor of the school, His Eminence John Cardinal Anaikon, called on the students to be of good behavior and keep up the Catholic values.
I am delighted that today we gather to celebrate success and to give glory to God. I believe that we are celebrating graduates who have passed through holistic development and formation in line with Catholic doctors and principals. I believe we are celebrating graduates who value the robustness and richness of Catholic university education. And I believe we are celebrating graduates who are ready and willing to sacrifice to make a difference wherever they find themselves. I congratulate all our graduates for keeping the faith and having been found worthy to fly the colors of the Catholic University of Nigeria as its graduates.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Michael Kwanashi, also called on the graduates to contribute to the transformation of the nation at large.
To our graduates, remember when you matriculated, we told you you are going to spend 4 years with us, and at the end of that 4 years, the world will marvel at what the youth can do. Today, you are moving out. We are hoping that your parents, first of all, have tasted what we have done to you, that they realize and they feel the transformation that Veritas or Catholic education has done to you. Now it is your job to move out of the world. We've always said, there's no way anybody anywhere will meet a Veritas student and will not be touched. Why? Because we've tried to motivate you, to sensitize you, to energize you, to encourage you, to guide you, that when you do graduate, you will make a difference anywhere you find yourself. You will speak out for justice. You will speak out in support of the poor. You will be bold to correct wrongs, and people will marvel. What authority has this man or woman to speak so boldly? It is that formation and transformation that you went through here in Veritas. It must show. You must change the world. You are the new leaders.
At the end of their speech, His Eminence John Cardinal Onaikon handed out first-degree certificates to students of various disciplines. Speaking with some of the graduates, they expressed their gratitude to the school authority.
In short, I can say with all amount of certainty that no university can be compared to the Catholic University of Nigeria.
They taught me to really read. Like I had my professors and my lecturers on my neck about reading, so I continued in that line, so it made me read more. And as a graduate, at least I would know how to put my Catholic self and my student self out there for people to recognize it and appreciate what the school has put me through.
Well, I hope you had a wonderful time seeing how the products of very good educational institutes are developed and are produced. Well, I believe that most of our children and students will try to find their way into that institution so that they will be able to learn or have better and qualitative education. Next on the line is a forum where people of great character in the Catholic faith who have made it through consistent belief in their faith will come and express their views with us, and we'll learn one or two things about their life. Let us see what Lavon have in stock for us this week.
Can we meet you, sir?
I am Victor Ndoma Egba. I was born on the 8th of March, 1956, in Ikom, in Cross River State, to the late Justice Ndoma Egba, who retired as a Justice of the Court of Appeal, and Madam Regina Nentry, who was a teacher, a social worker, and the first woman council chairman in the Eastern region of the defunct Eastern region. I'm a lawyer by profession, senior advocate of Nigeria, and I'm currently the leader of the Senate and senator representing Cross River Central Senatorial District.
Distinguished Senator, how did you come about your Catholic faith?
I was born into it, more or less. When the Catholic Church arrived in my part of the world, my maternal grandfather was the chief of the town, and he gave the Catholic Church the land where you have all Catholic institutions today in Ikom from Holy Family Joint Hospital to Holy Child Secondary School, to the church itself. So that church, the land belonged to Bokomo community in Ikom, and he was the chief of Bokomo, so he gave the church the land. So my grandmother became one of the earliest converts from traditional religion to the Catholic faith. And then in appreciation, the Catholic Church took one of my grandfather's children under their wings to train, and that happens to be my mother. So my mother is one of the first, among the first 4 Ikom women who received Western education, and it was Catholic education. So I was born into the faith, more or less. And in our time, it was house chores, it was school, it was farm, and it was church. That was the movement. So church was not just a faith, it was not just religion in our time. The Catholic faith was a way of life. You were born into it and you grew up in it.
Now, distinguished Senator, how has your Catholic faith impacted on your relationship with the people around you?
One significant aspect of the Catholic faith is when we pray and we say, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I have sinned, and have fallen short of the grace of God. The Catholic faith enjoins you to take responsibility, personal responsibility first for your actions. So you are personally responsible for your decisions and for your actions. We don't encourage third parties being blamed for things that we do. Oh, it is the devil, or it is one uncle, or it is one relation. First of all, you are enjoined to do a soul search. Where did I go wrong? And you take personal responsibility and seek forgiveness and absolution first. Then secondly, the Catholic faith is very, very clear on a number of issues. It's clear on marriage, it's clear on divorce, it's clear on the death penalty, it is clear on abortion, it is clear on so many social issues. So you are not left in doubt what to do when you are confronted with some of those issues. For instance, if I'm dealing with a law that will allow for abortion, for instance, my faith enjoins me to talk against it, because the Catholic faith does not permit abortion. We do not support the death penalty. So if a law is proposing a death penalty, because my faith is clear on it, my position is also clear.
You are a politician and you're a devout Catholic. How have you been able to marry the two of them?
Because people think that when you're a politician, there's always rigging or bribing or, things like that. So,
well, I once joked to Reverend Father George Husani that being a Catholic in politics is a bit of a dilemma, because as a politician, you are supposed to conduct yourself as a Pharisee. You must talk about everything you do, point at your piousness, or your piety. You must talk about how holy you are, how generous you are. And those are antithetical to Christian faith, because in the Christian faith, they say what the left hand does, the right hand shouldn't know. So you are confronted all the time with a moral dilemma. But for me, I chose to be influenced more by the moral aspects of it. There are things I do, people say talk about them, and I say I would rather lose an election than talk about some of those things, because those things are not done to gain any political mileage. You do them because your mind tells you to do them. You do them because you believe you have a social responsibility to do them.
In these days where people move from one place to the other, seeking for help, as a senator, how have you been able to keep firm in your faith?
For me, the Catholic faith, like I said before, it's not just a religion, it's not just faith, it's a way of life. And you see, traveling through life is like a journey on the high sea. You just see formlessness, just a mass of water, and formlessness, you're just moving from one horizon to another horizon. And you need a compass to navigate that mass of water. And for me, my Catholic faith is that compass, where you have matters that are ambiguous, morally ambiguous. You resort to your faith to resolve the ambiguity. So for me, the Catholic faith is that moral compass. When I'm confounded, when I'm confused, I resort to it. If I still am unable to resolve it myself, I resort to a priest.
I remember I once interviewed you some years ago. That was for my magazine, and you said something that you always had your rosary in your pocket. Do you have it now?
I don't leave my bedroom without it.
That's very good. So which means you're very.
I don't leave my bedroom without it.
That's really good. So
you cannot be a devout Catholic without going to mass every day. Do you do the daily masses?
Let me not say daily. I attend mass as often as I can. Fortunately, the Cardinal Onaikon have sent priests to the National Assembly, but they don't come daily. When it's convenient, I attend. And sometimes I also join the Synod President, who has a chapel for daily masses, but I try to attend as often as I possibly can. The one that is not compromised is the Sunday Mass.
I think that's a mortal sin if you don't do the Sunday Mass.
It's not. If I miss Mass on a Sunday, for the rest of the week, it's like wearing a designer suit without having a bath. That's the feeling you get. So for me, no matter, I remember once I was in Yemen and I needed to attend. I called Cardinal and he said, I'll get somebody to talk with you. And a Nigerian priest surprisingly came up with me. Yes. Wow. I was in Mauritania, the same thing. So everywhere I travel to, the moment it is certain that I will spend Sunday there, the first thing I do as I check into the hotel is to ask for directions to the nearest Catholic church.
I know you have a chapel in your house.
Yes, I do.
So, do you get priests to celebrate Mass here? Is it on a special occasion?
No, not. We just moved in recently. But my priest friends haven't visited yet. When they do, I'll work out some arrangements with them. But I have a chapel, and I have a chapel in my room in Calabar.
Okay, so
as I conceive a house, the first thing I think of is the chapel.
Okay. You have a large heart. I know you always have people around you, wherever you are, from the days when you were commissioner to now that you're senator. How do you cope with that?
What did the Bible say about lighting a lamp? You don't light a lamp and put it under the bushel. You light a lamp so that it will be a light. It will be light for everybody. And when God blesses you, He blesses you so that you can be a blessing to others. And if you cannot change the world, change the little space around you and change the people around you. As a policy, we encourage every domestic staff to improve himself or herself. We've had staff who joined us as cleaners. They are graduates today. Some of them work with airlines. We have had staff who joined us as clerks. Today they are senior managers in big banks. With my cook, he's no longer a cook, he's now an SA, because he's now a university graduate. I used to have a security detail, and I encouraged him to go back to school. He's now a lawyer, and when he came back, he wanted to return to me as a detail. I said, no, we are now learned colleagues.
Your officers in the Temple of Justice.
I cannot have my colleague open the door for me, And but they remain part of the family. They remain part of the family. And yes, we are here today who knows where we'll be tomorrow? Who knows who will be, where your help will come from? When we were kids growing up, we used to have this family friend who had a houseboy. The man was a big man, a very big man in those days. And the houseboy was an able boy. After some time, of course, he left, started business, became very, very successful. Meanwhile, his master, his former master, had a house that he took a bank loan to build. Many years later, he fell on hard times and couldn't service the loan. And the bank was to repossess the house. And this houseboy was the one who came and bailed him out by paying off the loan. So some of these things, you do them also as insurance for yourself. 99% might not be grateful, might not remember, but it doesn't matter. It's not the moment you do any of these things seeking gratitude, then you missed the spiritual essence.
Thank you so much, distinguished Senator, for giving us audience into your world on this segment of My Faith and I. We are here today, who knows where we will be tomorrow. I've been speaking to distinguished Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, SAN, Senate Majority Leader in the Nigerian Senate. I am Lavon Seletawo. Keep watching, don't go away, while I hand you over to Emeka.
I believe you must have learned one or two things on how faith can make you a great person or how faith can enhance your productivity in the society. We are moving straight on to the next segment on the program, which is What to Do.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Veritas University. On today's segment on What to Do, we'll discuss contract, and more importantly, the need to have contract in your day-to-day transaction. What do you mean by contract? Contract, in the layman definition of contract, is an agreement between two persons on the way and manner to go about certain specific things. It could be a result of buying and selling, it could be a result of building, it could be a result of construction, it could be in respect of anything that you are not doing alone, that it involves somebody else. That is just the elementary definition of contract for us to deal with. Then what are the importance of contract? Most often, no matter how close you and somebody will be, you have issue of fading memories or conscious forgetfulness or just amnesia that will, or being mischievous not to represent what was agreed between you and the other person at the initial concept of your transaction. So that is why you have to have contract. When you have a contract that defines an agreement between both of you, what is this agreement? It will be the obligations, the responsibilities, and what each and every party to this contract will be obliged to deal with in this contract. Let's take typically an example of buying and selling. I have the resources to give to you, and you have the time to deal with this, whatever we are buying. It is better, and then we'll now discuss about how we share it. At this point in time, we'll now have a contract agreement between me and you, stating that I provide the funds and you do the buying and selling. At the end of the day, the profit that comes out of it will be shared at this ratio. Because I supply the funds, I'll get 70%. Because you do the selling, you get 30%. If we don't have an agreement that details all this thing in total, at the end of the day, if I provide the fund and you do the selling, we might have problems on how to go about this thing. And this have led to people killing each other in this country, people suing each other unnecessarily, and then creating enmity. So if you have a document where you reduce all your agreement into writing, I can assure you will not have any problem. Don't say that this is my best friend. Don't say that this is my father. Don't say this is my mother. Don't say this is my sibling. Reduce every agreement you have into writing, because at that, even if you are not there, any person coming after you, your executor of will or your siblings or any person that have interest in your estate can look at this document and know how to go about it. So it's my advice to every person to have a contract, because having a contract, your expression, your desires are expressly and explicitly written in word. And even in law, the Measure of the Evidence Act, oral statement cannot vitiate what is written except in exceptional circumstances. So once it is documented, you are sure that your intent and intention are well captured, that will not be deviated from anybody. So I urge you listeners and viewers to, at any point in time, have a contract in any transaction whatsoever you are going to, as that gives you perfect rest of mind, and all around you also have peace. And it will also reduce enmity, problems, and unnecessary court matters. Thank you for watching.
Well, I hope you had a swell time going along with us on this program this week. If you did, well, same time next week will be a wonderful opportunity for us to interact again. Till we meet again, have a wonderful day.